Jesse has to go to extremes to save Cass's life, who's a little too focused on his own obsessions to really see that clearly. Tulip shows why she's the best girlfriend ever, and flashbacks reveal an interesting connection between Jesse and Madame Boyd. Plus, the devil takes a nice little meeting with the saint. It's Preacher! Season 3, Episode 4. The Tombs. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Preacher. So yes, of course, lots of spoilers are coming up. Alright, great episode this week. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of great character work, a lot of honest character expressions. And I think that was one of the main things that I love pulling away from this episode. There is a lot of subterfuge, there's a lot of feinting, there's a lot of misdirection. And in the end, the faith that we have in these characters to see through it all and kind of do the right thing when the chips are down, I think was ultimately what was the most satisfying part about this episode. So let's dive in kind of real quick to the tombs, which is really what this is all about, what this is all centered around. And I love that we get our flashback to young Jesse. Of course, a lot of what we're doing this season is showing that history of Jesse with Angelville and what caused him, what sort of shaped his youth and ultimately caused him to leave as well. And I think we really see a lot of that right here. The Tombs, of course, is another moneymaker for Angelville. Not only do we have the people coming in for the spells, the people coming in maybe overpaying, maybe getting themselves a little bit of debt in order to attain what they want. And of course, through that debt, Granny Langelle is able to get her souls and keep herself young. The Tombs serving the same purpose, maybe in a bit more of a direct way, really. Certainly, you're betting on monster fights. The house always wins. The house always collects the most, so that is a big moneymaker as everyone is betting on the outcome of these monster fights. Additionally, any gambler is going to overspend. They're going to get themselves in debt, and there you achieve the same purpose. People in debt are going to owe Granny Langelle. They pay off one way or the other. They get the cash or they get the soul. So it kind of works either way. And I think this might be, like I said, a bit more of a direct money maker. Certainly more of a largesse in that sense. The glue huffing and alcohol and everything else thrown into the mix is certainly going to push everything to extremes. But what we see here is, one, why Jesse really is needed by Angelville, by Granny Langelle. Jody says it himself. The kid has the look and he has the voice to pull people in. And that's what they've been missing since he's been gone. That's why Granny is so upset. Without Jesse, they don't have anyone to pull people in. What, are you going to have Jody do it? TC? No, those people, they scare people away. Their job is more monster wrangling. And that's sort of the other thing that we sort of catch here is, again, we keep seeing the intensity, the damage, the beast that Jody is. And here we get it really, I think, sort of nailed down is, okay, our monsters are fighting to regain their souls, effectively. And that never happens. So you've got the two monsters, they fight, the winner moves on to the, was it the redemption round, where they fight Jody. If they beat Jody, they get their souls back. Nobody beats Jody. They don't really have to show the fights, they just tell that. They talk, Jody comes in, even was it TC, it was even telling him, take it easy on him, I can't put people together that are all cut up like that are damaged too much, that are dead like that. It was just, Jody is the beast. To be reckoned with. He is the kind of gatekeeper there, which is perfect because it maintains him as the big scary creature that eventually Jesse is going to have to beat. He is the big bad of the season in that sense. And even as we see Jesse youthful, yes, he embraces the showmanship. He's sort of a natural about it. And I love the gladiator references. Are you not entertained? go see Gladiator again. Not seeing Gladiator. We'll get to the whole little Madam Boyd connection in a minute. But what we do see in this is Jesse, while enjoying the showmanship of it, doesn't like the price that is paid. It is still pulling on him, duping people into debt so that they either lose their money or their soul. What does he ask Jody? How much do we need to take from him? Every single dime, every last drop. So yeah, it's a good thing because, again, we're seeing why he was there, but we're also seeing how these effects are really pulling at Jesse and giving him reason why he would eventually leave Angelville. But we do get a nice transition into the future. I have to say, I did love that scene as we're panning around in the old time, and then the color changes and gets a little more vibrant, and then we see the scorecard in the back change to vampire versus science pedo, and then right on to the fight between Cass and our science teacher. So I just always love those little time transitions that are done well and smartly. And this is kind of a basic one, sure, but I think it works really well, especially in the darkness of the tombs there. And then, of course, we get our big fight. Cass kicking the science teacher's butt. But what really motivates him is the loss of his vial. And I did ask last week, did that seem to be, was it the actual love spell that he got from Granny Langell, or was it something else? From his reaction and everything else in the episode, it was definitely an actual love spell. So, yeah, even Granny wants to kind of get rid of them in order to keep Jesse at Angelville. But that certainly motivates him to finish off the science teacher. Nice sledgehammer hit right in the side of the noggin there. That was beautiful. And then, of course, we get Jesse having to push away, show constantly throughout the episode, this is not my friend, this is a backstabbing vampire. And what's his line? I told you you were going to hate me. Why? Because he has to put on this show. He has to put this front on to keep Jody and TC guessing. They can't suspect anything. It's the only way that Jesse can save Cass's life. And I really enjoyed that part of this episode too, because he's showing that he's not backing down. Jesse has to go to these extremes, and he kind of has to put in faith that Cass is going to understand him. It doesn't really work out that way, but he doesn't really have much of a choice. I mean, this is sort of the way that he has to do it. And that brings us to that wonderfully hilarious scene in the packaging when he cuts off, because at the end of the fight, of course, picks up the hatchet, hacks him apart, leaves his hand so it looks like he had chewed his way out and escaped, and takes the rest of the body parts and tries to ship them back to New Orleans. That was one of the funniest looking scenes that we have had in a long time, and a show that does a lot of great comedy as well as drama and scary movements and action. Just Jesse putting in the pieces into the box while Cass is yelling at him right there. Oh, this is the way you get rid of me, isn't it? It was perfect. It was so hilarious. We're seeing again Jesse trying to do what he can to get Cass out of there. But Cass is so obsessed with Tulip, he can't see it with Jesse. And it got to the point, I think here was almost like too much for me, of how much Cass was pushing and fighting away and yelling at Jesse, he's not doing the right thing. Where Jesse is literally has cut him up and is putting him in pieces to ship him back and giving him blood so he can feel himself back together in order to try and save his life. So it was it's a great kind of interesting collision right there where we have Jesse having to go through extreme stuff in order to save Cass, and Cass so obsessed with his love for Tulip that he completely misses out on everything that Jesse is trying to do. I'm just hoping at some point it sort of settles itself out. Now, Tulip did some serious ass-kicking in this episode. I have to say, that opening bit with Madam Boyd in the apartment complex in the motel there was just awesome. You cannot... You can't put Tulip in a corner. You can't, but she's not going to back down. She is committed 100% all the way. I loved her shooting through the door against the guys that are trying to come in, getting the submachine gun and doing the full-on shoot on the floor and just make the hole and drop through. I mean, come on. That is just, that is perfect. It's so over the top excellence of what Preacher is. That just had me cheering at the screen. But through this, of course, now we get our little backstory between Madame Boyd, Sabina, and Jesse, which gives some interesting stories. I mean, I love the kind of back and forth between Boyd and Tulip here, because of course Tulip doesn't want to listen to anything, but Boyd's, I mean, again, she's not only here with the magic and the voodoo and all that, but she knows how to work people. So she's slowly pushing, slowly working Tulip throughout all of this. So it was kind of, I love the little back and forth of energy that was going on right here. But principally, of course, we're getting our backstory, our connection between Jesse and Sabina, that they were little lovers. He was the one that he wasn't going to see Gladiator over and over again with, as TC had told him, be careful about who you are seeing. And that plays in, and again, these threats, the seriousness of Angelville, the danger that it represents, we are seeing how this impacts Jesse growing up, how much he's pulling away, how much it scares him, how much it alters all of his relationships. I did find it interesting we got a little Tulip reference there, that Jesse had already connected in with Tulip, which we had referred and talked about before. But again, putting things in sort of a timeline, I think this was really kind of cool. And that might play into something a little bit later of what Boyd says to Tulip there about breaking the spell. But, of course, they were a little item. Jesse likes her, but the threats from TC that could actually get Sabina in trouble, could get her pulled into the tombs. Granny Langelle is not going to like her messing with Boyd. These are two competitors, even though at that stage Granny Langelle is so much of the victor, is the one on top. That this forces Jesse to push her away, and probably overdoes it. Just need to call her trash and all that. It was a little much, I think. But again, this is showing how much Jesse will sacrifice and push things away in order to protect people. He does what seems to be the wrong thing for the right reasons. And again, we've got this going not only throughout this episode, but through a lot of Jesse's life. That obviously makes Sabina a little upset, and her brother comes out in order to get a little revenge against Jesse. And we get our two stories. From what Sabine hears, from what Madame Boyd hears, is the brother comes up, they fight, Jesse kills him, even though it was, try and stop it, please. And Jesse was just too focused and obsessed and kills him. And yeah, it's going to break your heart twice. The truth of that, of course, being a little bit different. Jesse was defending himself, not trying to kill, was the one that was actually asking the brother to stop, who doesn't, and that sort of forces Jesse in a defensive way to squeeze back, and he ends up killing him. And not jumping up asking if you are entertained, but instead being pulled up by Jody, who asks if you are not entertained. And how that story gets played is certainly going to make the difference between whether you understand that your ex-boyfriend had to defend himself or hate him even more because he killed your brother. So of course, at some point, all of these doubts to Jesse's motivations, has he been suckered into the darkness of the tombs, is he doing the right thing, does have to come to a head, and does in the beautiful return of Cassidy. Well, I mean, really starting out with the big speech, I thought was kind of Jesse's throwdown to the tombs of where he is standing, where he is coming from. Kind of surprised that he was telling everyone that God is gone. I mean, who's going to trust this particular glue huffing crowd about anything? But again, I mean, it's Jesse stepping forward, talking about the ridiculous, the darkness of humanity. Yes, God is gone, and why is he? Because of this darkness of people obsessing with the... I mean, it was a perfect descriptor, it was a perfect tear down of the crowd here in the tombs. I thought was wonderfully well, and really pointedly made too after he gets through his second point, which is just like the darkness and depths and the people are doing this, and is this going to be the truth, and I'm going to have to kick God's ass if he's just given up on humanity. The guy reaches from the crowd, and what was the third thing? It's like, you guys suck so much, you're not even really paying attention to the depth of what's being told to you. But as he tries to say that the Tombs is closed, his big F.U. to Granny Langell and Jody and everything that they represent, we have Cassidy reappear. In just a glorious fashion, too. I mean, look, yeah, you don't want him causing any troubles, you don't want him hurt, but he's showing up, he's got a fresh set of clothes, he's got a machete strapped to his arm, he's whistling an Irish jig. I mean, come on. That is an entrance. And I was wondering why, initially. Why are you here? Are you that mad at Jesse that you have to go and kill him? Do you definitely want that revenge so much? Are you so obsessed that that's all that you can see? And not really. I did like the moment where he looks over in the corner and it's like, oh, you're back here to get the vial. You're back here for Tulip. You've got to put on a show of your own. I mean, certainly at this point, kicking Jesse's ass in Cass's mind, I think, is a total bonus. But that doesn't go as well as certainly Cass was planning to. And did he think that he was going to win against Jess? I think they've thrown down a couple of times before. I mean, I don't know. If the sword strapped to your arm, there's a good chance for it. Or was he just doing it to try and bide enough time to reach over in the corner and get the vial? Just last long enough for that, because he does not last too long with Jesse. I love that fight. I loved him laying him out. It was just sort of perfectly done. Especially again, we have Jesse like, stop it, I'm trying to stay down, and Cass just overly obsessing. But of course, as it gets to the end, the two of them head to head, and of course, Jess has to take him out. That's when Tulip walks in. And to me, this was a really interesting moment, because this is one of those standard areas where you were thinking she is going to see it, she's going to see the darkness in him, she's going to leave. And they play the scene out nicely well. And I mean, we do have Jesse saying this is the way that it is, and if not, you have to get out. You know, you can read that double language where he's trying to say, Cass, get out of here. The two of you run. This place is crazy. You know, protection. I love you guys. Get out. Be safe. And it's real easy for that to have been labored onto for a couple of episodes. For other shows to take that moment, have Tulip see, pull away from Jesse, do the doubts, have him and she and Cass go off and do another little side adventure or something like that. Build up the drama, really drag it all out. And they don't. And that is why I love this show so much. And that is why our next scene is the scene of the week for this week. And that is Tulip staring down, confronting Jesse in the house, in the upstairs. Last week we had that quietish little scene between Jesse and Cass defining the relationship in many ways. Here, the same thing. Why Tulip is such an awesome girlfriend and why this show is just so well done. Because like I said, where other shows might have drawn those moments out, here it's used in reverse, where Tulip comes up and says, of course you were trying to get him out of here, and of course you had told Madame Boyd, you told Sabine to get out of here because you're trying to protect her. Stop lying to me. I can see you. I know what your motivations are. Let's be straight. Let's cut this BS of lies and protections and all of that. And I mean, it was just so powerfully done, so beautiful. I mean, look, Ruth Negga is an amazing actor, Dominic Cooper is an amazing actor, lot of great talent, and here we can really see the two of them facing off of that intense emotion. Like I said, really just cutting through it all. Tell me what happened, let's be clear, let's move forward. It was amazing, I was cheering, I really like that choice. The one thing, though, of course, is that I want to be sure that that they maintain that. Okay? You've hit a great moment. You've hit that moment of trust. And now let's have those characters take this and build and move off of it. I don't want to see in 2 or 3 episodes Jesse lying to Tulip again and creating all this slide back. This was a great moment. Define this between the characters, maintain it, and use that strength going forward. That's what I want to see. Oh, and also, again, the trust happening between people when the chips are down, what choices are going to be made. So glad that Cass did not use the vial. There wondering if he was going to. It was the perfect thing. We saw all of his obsession. He has that moment. He thinks he's getting away with Tulip. They can go anywhere, and she says no. And Cass, even then, he admits his love for her, confesses, I love you. And that hard, painful, but I don't love you back. I mean, she does love him, but not in that kind of way. And I think that's where Cass has been kind of confused or misinterpreting. But he does have that opportunity to use the vial and decides not to. He respects Tulip, I think, too much there. And I really appreciate that he didn't do it. He could have, and that would have created a whole other sideline. And perhaps, maybe he'll slip back later on in the future. But for now, really glad that Cass decided, all right, that's the way that things are. I'm going to go forward and accept that. I love you so much, I'm going to let you go. But of course, it won't be for too long, because who was on the bus with him heading to New Orleans? Featherstone. The Grail is not finished with Cass. Okay, going super long. Let's hit this really quick. Don't want to miss the Saint Devil scenes. Awesome. Love that intro. The bit where we have the old man down into hell, wandering up the hallway, looking in at the Saint's hell, seeing the reflections back. Then the camera panned down to the feet as the door opens, so we don't get that full shot. I mean, it was just it set the emotion, set the tone so nicely. It was beautifully shot. Then the music coming up, it was just I love that opening. Really powerful. And then, of course, elevator music. Have to appreciate that. Down to the 9th layer of hell, I believe that was, which was beautiful. The fire, the flames, the effects. They were spending money on this episode. This was the place to do it. It was perfect. The devil was hilarious. I loved him. I loved his back and forth. This minute he gets like, you know, it's not like it's up to me. Well, actually it is. I mean, leave alone when he's torturing him and he's just like, this isn't my favorite part. Who am I kidding? This absolutely is my favorite part. I mean, it was just, I love the devil. I love the kind of jovial but messing with them the whole time. Do you have a question? Who he was on the phone with? Let's make a deal, talking to somebody. All right, I'll do it on here. You do the same on your end. Is he talking to the Grail? It's not heaven. He said, bless the All-Father. I don't think so. So, I'm curious. Again, these are the small little things I want to know. I want to know, who is he talking with? That's going to play out. But anyway, we do get our nice little torture scene. I love that the Angel of Death's name is Sydney. Okay. But really what this all boils down to is the devil needs a job from the Saint. Didn't like him leaving hell. Didn't like him wandering around shooting things up. Needs to show his place in there, so that's where the torture went. But ultimately, all of that was just to get the Saint to do a little bit of a retrieval. Doesn't get his guns, can't go killing people, has to bring them back alive. 2 people. Now, the easiest to suspect here is Eugene and Hitler. They're the ones from hell that escaped. Eugene's not supposed to be in hell, though. So, is he? I'm pretty sure he's definitely going after Hitler. But is Eugene the other one, or is it someone else? Whenever they don't give specifics, you have to think it can't be the most obvious. Though, sometimes it is. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely thinking Hitler, but I'm thinking the other one might be, I don't know, maybe someone Herr Starr wants taken care of. Oh, and that last scene between Boyd and Tulip. Yes, after lets her out of the car. That was sort of a great moment. But Boyd telling Tulip how to break the spell. I do not trust her. And I like that Tulip doesn't trust her either. Just kill the person who holds it. Oh, just kill Granny Langell. Not going to do it. Then there's going to be some backslide, something. Tulip is smart to ask. And yes, Boyd says it's not Jesse that will suffer, but someone else will. What's the line that she uses? There's one other person that I hate more than Jesse. We would think that that's Granny Langell, that is the competitor. But remember, Tulip's name was brought up back in the day in the flashback when she asked about Jesse. You still thinking about that girl back in Texas. So Boyd might still be holding a grudge against Tulip. And since Granulon Gel brought Tulip back, again, I would think that that Granulon Gel would be smart enough to put in some sort of back out, some sort of little cost, the don't stab me in the back clause of the magic contract. All right, couple of quick things. The beer store, no bottles, no cans, just kegs. That's awesome. Oh, and we had a god drive by. That was interesting. Keeping an eye on Tulip, wondering what she's doing. What's God's plan? I don't trust him. Stop staring at me like that! It's freaky. All right, 2 words, skin suit. Oh my God, that was just... It was hilarious. I mean, first off, the whole scene in the packing store where he's talking about, you know, this is the best way to escape, and then bringing up the Tauntaun from Empire Strikes Back. Always love a Star Wars reference. And thinking that that's a way that they escaped. I mean, that was perfect. But then using that to actually escape the tombs in the body of our pedo science teacher, no doubt, which was just perfect. And yeah, maybe we can ask some questions. Why would he be able to leave? Certainly a familiar face for TC and Jody, but crowds, okay, we'll go with it. Doesn't matter. That reveal was just, was awesome. I am so glad we got to see that. All right, it's long. I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for joining me with this review. As usual, if you liked it, please go ahead and hit the like button, thoughts, ideas, and comments down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Quick and easy, just hit this button. You'll catch all of these reviews. In fact, I'll throw a couple random ones right here you can check out. I hope you enjoyed them. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.